Hello and good evening. Welcome to the Camera Club of Richmond. I'm Bob Schamerhorn. I'm your president currently, and am out of town right now, but just wanted to go over a few of the things that your board of directors has been working tremendously hard on. We feel we've come to a great decision on how to improve our end of year competition, as you've read about in the last several newsletters. We've gotten great comments from people with suggestions and concerns about the changes that we're going to implement for this year. The plan was approved by everybody present at the board meeting where we approved it at recently. The submissions will be coming up as well. All the information was sent out in a newsletter, in an email in just the last few days. I guess at this point, by the time you're seeing this, a couple weeks ago. So you should have seen those by now. If not, contact somebody on the board about that and we'll make sure you can receive them. So anyways, I just want to go over some of those things. One of the major changes will be as we did last year, really, so it's really not even a change, but we will not have prints again this year due to trying to be able to be in person. We had difficulty getting judges in that would come in person. So once again, just logistically, we will not have the entire category of prints, unfortunately, again, because that is such an important part of photography. I'm a print guy myself. I do tons and tons of printing and know how important it is to see my work in a different media. So I also recommend, if you don't do prints, consider doing that even just for your own benefit as well. But there will not be any in this year's end of year competition. The next thing is another just really minor change. There's the wildlife category has been renamed to animals. Because that category does include more than only wildlife, like zoo animals and things like that. We simply changed the name of that to make it a little clearer and less confusing. Other than that, the criteria has not changed in any way whatsoever. So if you had entries that fit that category before, they will still fit that category now. Only the name of the category is changed. And that will change later in the naming conventions too, which are also new for this year as well. One of the other major changes, other than the minor changes to naming conventions, which often happen, is that there will be a third skill level group this year. So we have the novice intermediate group. We will have a mid-level group, which is called the advanced group, and then you have a higher tier expert group. This was brought around for several reasons. One is the growth of our membership. We have a bit more of a robust club than we used to, and so in order to have a more fair playing field for everybody who wants to participate, we have a third group level now, so it's hopefully there'll be a better match for wherever you're at in your photography endeavors, to fit in a group where you can compete well. Also, we are going, as this new group is starting in this first year, no matter what group you've been in the past, if you feel you've been moved up to an advanced level that's beyond your skill level, here's your opportunity to reset that. So we just ask that you consult your conscience as to what group best fits you. If you've won tons of awards in the past, and consider being in the highest expert group perhaps. I know of a few names I could peel off right away. Other than that, just see where you feel like you fit in those three groups. That is also part of the file naming convention change. So when you submit your files, that will be one of the changes that gets designated there. The judging will happen, and I don't know if I said the entry deadline is October 16th, typically as it's been there in mid-October most years as well. So no real big change there. Please try to get your work in. It has to be in by midnight. It does become a great logistical difficulty as we prepare hundreds of files for the judges to come in. So please make sure you adhere to that deadline, and we are going to stick to that, and that is October 16 at midnight. So you have plenty of time for that still. And the judging will happen on November 13th. And we have, I don't know if you're familiar with how the judging process has worked in the past. As a new member of the board, I was really not aware of exactly how that happened. I just know that it did happen. So what we've been doing in the past and will continue to do is we have 3 top expert photography judges. These have typically come from the Photographic Society of America, and arranged by Carol Hageman. And those judges we do have connection with now, and in order to do that, each judge gets a maximum of 9 points each that they will assign per image. And once the images are scored, those 3 scores are combined together for a single score. So that's all exactly the same as it's been in the past, but that's just how the judging process has worked. We will continue to do that, as I mentioned. So the change for this year is actually only how we're going to apply those scores. So as far as your entries, everything is basically the same as it's been in years past. If you're new to the club, there's great procedures written out, as well as lots of definitions and things like that. Karen Davis is also going to be putting together a seminar of sorts on Zoom in order to answer any questions and kind of walk you through those procedures. So if you're new, I do recommend checking that out. That will also go up onto our YouTube, so you can watch it afterwards as well if you need to refer to it at any point. And so what will change is how we actually utilize the judges' scores. So in the past, if there was a single entry in a category, it was automatically a first place. So if you had 10 in there, then you could only have a certain amount of awards in there. So with the new system, if there's 1 award in there and it has reached the merit threshold, it will receive first place in that category. If it has not, then there will be no awards in that category. So in the same category, let's say if you had 10 winners, as you might have had in the past, the new thing will be that if all 10 of them reach the minimum score threshold, then they will all get awards. The first 3 would be first, second, third, and then all the others following in succession of score and rank would receive an honorable mention. So there's actually a larger opportunity to win awards, and they will be merited. It won't just be, because you showed up at 5th grade soccer practice, you get a little plastic trophy. They'll actually be add some integrity to our contest as well. With the 3rd group, that should also increase because now we have the potential for another basically 33% more awards because we have the same categories in each group. So there's even a higher level of scores of awards probable because of that as well. Let's see here, group advancement. So we've always had a mechanism when you're in used to be groups A and B. We now have 3 groups that are novice, intermediate, advanced, and expert. So if you're in the novice group, once you reach a certain amount of credits, then you will advance to the next group. Those credits will accumulate up to a 3-year period. So if you don't reach that threshold point over 3 years, you will not advance. You will not be pushed to a higher group than you're ready for. If you do reach it, it'd be pretty hard to do in 1 year unless you're like really in the wrong group to start with, probably. But if it was over a couple of years and you reach that mark, so to go from the novice group to the advanced group, you would have to reach 25 credits. To go from the advanced group to the expert group, you would have to have 30 credits. So what are these credits? So if you have first place in any category within your group, you would get 3 credits. 2 credits for second place, and 1 credit for third place. Honorable mentions carry 0 credits, and the major awards also carry 0 credits because you would have already gotten credits because you have to have a first place to be in those major award groups. So just to be forward on that is first place is 3, second place is 2, and so in order to accumulate points, so to advance from the novice group up 1 level, you would need 25 points. So if you had all first places, you'd have to get almost every category for that to happen. You'd have to win first place in. And so as you can see, it will not be as quick of a movement up to the next group. We ask that as you start out, once again, you pick what group you think you best fit in. And then if the trigger does kick in and you still feel you've been moved upward to the wrong group, you may petition the board for that. But we feel these will be a more fairer mechanism for moving people up into a skill group. You may also, on your own, which is what I did, was to move myself up to a group by choice. And so you can choose your own group. And as we're starting out this new system, you get to choose your own group the first time. So there's a lot of freedom in that as well. You're not going to be forced into anything that you're not ready for. And if you do, you may petition the board and we can correct anything like that. So we hope that will bring a lot of fairness as well. The other thing is, let's see, is the awards presentation is December 8th. It's looking most likely that is also going to be a Zoom as we did last year. If things change otherwise, which we would love for them to, we will certainly announce that. And unfortunately, it is also looking like we will probably not be at in-person meetings throughout the fall either, till things settle down with the COVID variants and things like that. The church is kind of open to it, but at this point, logistically, there's a lot of hoops to jump through with that. But so that's probably going to be the case. So I guess kind of plan on that unless you've heard otherwise. And then really the last thing is just to make sure you know that by entering the contest, you are given your permission for us to use your images. If you're a winner, then they go into the newsletter. They will be posted to Facebook and as well as in the winners gallery on our website. So we just want to be open and let you know about that. I hope you will all consider participation. Read the procedures. I think they're pretty well clarified in things. And if you still have questions, contact somebody on the board and we'll be glad to help clarify those. I hope you enjoy the meeting tonight. As when I agreed to be your president for this year, I knew my fall was going to be very thick and my schedule quite full as it has become. And but I did want to at least drop this message into you and wish you the best in your recipient of awards coming in the end of year competition, and we hope you'll all participate. So thank you very much. Good night.